Welcome back, Live for Love TV. 7th day of the 11th month, 21st year, inside the 21st century. Hope everyone's doing well out there. Today, I had a really good conversation with an old friend of mine, and he was articulating his position, and his position was he's done with the sisters. He's done with them. He's at it. He's at it. Now, I normally would run somebody like that off the phone or say, listen, I don't want to hear this. This is not right. You know, if that's your position, then I don't want to hear you bashing up on sisters in order to do what you wanted to do or anyway. But because of the respect I have for this brother, I said, let me listen him out. Let me hear exactly what he has to say. And he made some points today that I had to nod to and I had to agree to. And you're hearing it currently with, let's say, Kevin Samuels. You're hearing it all over the internet now. People starting to take this position verbally. Now, there's a lot of people I know over the years who, what we'd say, is crossed over, who no longer have any interest in the sisters in a relationship, with a sister. But I never, because I'm not in conversation with these brothers, I never really understood what their position is, why they feel like that. Sometimes you hear the occasional thing that the sisters are too aggressive and they're too competitive and and all these few things which may have some underlying truth to it, but it's certainly not enough, as far as I'm concerned, for someone to say, I'm done with the sisters. But this brother, who I'm talking about, and I'll leave him nameless, he knows who he is a very intelligent brother. He's a worldly brother. He's a progressive brother. And he's got his own values. He's got a good value system, which is not based just on finances. And he was making some points that you do hear from a lot of people. You hear them, they don't normally say they're not having anything to do with any sisters, but you hear these points and you realize these are some of the points that break up marriages, long-term relationships, and you start to look back at your own life and start saying, well, I have to agree with so much. I mean, if the guy made 30 points, I'd have to say at least 24 to 25 of them, I'm bang on with him. Totally agree with him. This is my observation as well as his. Remembering that everybody's an individual, so this is a generalization, and no generalization is accurate. It can't be accurate because it's just general. So you may be saying the majority of sisters are like this, but they're not all like this. So I want to make that clear at this point. But as I said, the points that he's making, and I'm not going to articulate all of them right now. I'll tell you why, because you can find them on almost every video that Mr. Kevin Samuels does, and other brothers that are now following in turn. Now, here's something that I have to say, and I have to be honest with you. Many years ago, I'd say in the 90s, a lot of these points that I hear some of these brothers coming out with, I had made myself, and I'd made them two sisters around the brothers, and it'd be, we'd have, like, let's say we have a group of us, whether we're in a fitness situation, because I do a lot of fitness, in the sauna, we'd have those conversations where you'd have some educated sisters and some educated brothers, and people would be talking. And a lot of the things that I see, and the sisters that I say that you see on the internet making these points and causing people like my friend to say he's stepping away. So there's a lot of delusional points that some of these sisters were making back in those days. And I always said exactly what I said and what I say now to those sisters. That's delusional. You don't have to have any interest in what's going on inside me or any other man, and it seems to all be about you. And I'll tell you what was disappointing about that time. It wasn't the sisters that disappointed me, but it was the brothers. Whenever there was brothers with me, say there's 5, 6, 7 brothers in a conversation with a few sisters, they always would step away from saying the things that they would say to me in private. And that was because they wanted to get between these sisters' legs. And so a lot of the problems that's happening, the delusional sisters have to this day, which you see coming on Mr. Kevin Samuels is, on his feed and his live, is based on why brothers who refuse to let these sisters know many years ago, whether it's in America, in Jamaica, in the UK, in Ghana, it doesn't matter. These things have been going on for years, but most of the brothers are too coward to let the sisters know exactly what they think about what they're doing or what's happening in a relationship. They just, was it go along to get along or get along to go along, whatever they say, something like that. And that doesn't work, because it makes the person, instead of teaching the person anything, it makes the person more delusional and more delusional, till eventually you have so many sisters that are in my age group, within 10, 15 years of me, whether up or down, and they claim they're successful. Like I heard Diana Ross's daughter, one of her daughters, or her only daughter, I don't know if it's her only daughter, say the other day that black men are frightened of successful black women. I mean, the cheek of it. That's another delusional woman. Same thing they were saying back in the 90s. How delusional can you be? What do you call success? You want a man, you can't get a man. You can't get the kind of man you want. You can't get a man to stay with you. You can't get a man to marry you, and you can't get a man to want a long-term relationship with you. But somehow you're successful. Well, if you're so successful by yourself, forget the men. Forget them altogether. Just forget them. There's no need to talk about men or to bring men into your conversation. You can forget them altogether because you're successful. And this is the problem, is that when one person, regardless of whether he's a male or a female, claims they're successful all by themselves, they should stay by themselves. And this is what a lot of sisters have done over the years. And this is what my friend was complaining about, how strong they claim to be, how independent they claim to be, and how when you get into a one-on-one relationship with them, all the problems that they have become you. You're the problem. Everything that's wrong with their life is the man is their problem. Their husband is their problem. Well, this is because they're not successful. This is why I say that this concept of being successful singly, because I don't understand, if you're successful and you don't have a partner, then what do you need a partner for? Don't you? I mean, you want to be successful, don't you? What do you need a partner for? So this is something that I find hilarious, makes me laugh when I hear it. And I did say to my friend, and I told him, and I stick to it, I told him straight, I said, bro, I'm the kind of captain that goes down with the ship. I go down with the ship. Even if there's a hole, if there's one person left on that ship, then as a captain, it's your duty to go down with the ship. So I'm staying with the sisters, regardless. Doesn't mean I'm going to listen to any bullshit, or I'm going to accept this negative behavior or this kind of foolish talk. They can't talk to me the way I hear them talking out there, and they want this and they want that, and the man's got to be this and he's got to do that and he's got to do that for her and do that for her. Well, you go and find a man that will do all those things for you, because you can't find him. That's why you're miserable, and that's why you're successful but without a man. That's why you've got all the things you claim you have, but you don't have a man, and you claim you're successful. And whenever a woman does have a man, you try to put her down, and she has a husband, you try to put her down. You try to make her seem like, oh, she's not independent, she's not strong, she's weak. That's the reason why the guy wants to be with her. Well, that just goes to show you how deluded, and not only how deluded, but how bitter a person you are, and why so many of my brothers are now saying they'd rather go out with somebody other than a sister. That's sad to me. It won't happen to me, regardless, because I know if there's one sister on this planet that doesn't think like that, then I'll still be there. That's why I say I go down with the ship. So I'm saying to my friend, I told you, and I'll tell everyone, I go down with the ship. It's as simple as that. I got no problem with going down with the ship, but I'm not going to go down with the the bullshit. I don't go down with that. And I think the brother has made his choice, but the problem is there's so many people making the same choices that he's making now, but they don't tell us why. And they're not able to articulate it the way he articulated it to me. So we just don't know. We just say, oh, those guys are just not loyal to the sisters. Oh, those guys are this. Oh, those guys don't like strong women. What strong women? What strong women are you talking about? Why are these sisters so strong? What's so strong about them? Because they compete with their own man or their own husband. because they try to put their own husband down or their own man down, sometimes even in front of other people. That makes them strong? No, that's not what strength is like when you have, some people go to the gym and they use their biceps, physical strength, so they can knock somebody down. But there's other people who use their biceps to lift people up, lift them up off the ground and help them to get somewhere. That's the real strong people. And that's the kind of sister you want around you. Somebody who helps to lift you up, not somebody who waits until you're up and then says, oh, why are all the brothers going out with, non-African women, non-black women? Well, maybe you didn't give them a chance to build themselves up around you, and you've waited till they'll become an NBA pick or a heavyweight champion or something, and then say, how comes they were? Maybe these are the women who were with them when they're on their way up. And they should stay with those women. Why should they go to anybody else who wants them only when they're successful? Or when they've got a certain amount of finances that can take care of that itself. To a man, that's disgusting. I'll tell you straight. To a man, any man that's a real man, that's disgusting. Someone who only wants you when you're at your best. Yeah, and they see you've made your way up to a certain degree, certain place. Then all of a sudden, you're the main man, and then they want to argue about you not being with a sister right now. How comes? Well, I'm quite sure that sisters who are with their men on the way up, when the men they're still with them. I'm sure you can. People like Ice Cube, LL Cool J, Denzel Washington. These men's sisters were with them on their way up, and they're still with them. These men are loyal. But are you loyal? Some of you who are out there behaving the way you're behaving and talking the way you're talking about what a man must have before he can get next to you, are you loyal? Maybe you're not loyal. But if you want to be successful, you need to find a man, a real man, and you need to sit down with him, and you need to shut your mouth for 5 minutes, not completely, just for 5 minutes, and listen to that man and see where he's coming from and what he wants. Because if it's all about what you want, you're going to be by yourself for forever and a day. And I don't normally come at it like this, and I don't normally get so strong about it, but the fact that my friend called me today, someone who I thought would go down with the ship like I'm going down with the ship, and he says, no, he's taking the lifeboat, he's off, he's had enough of these people. And I've seen so much of it over the years, and to hear him say it really made me feel I had to say something. I had to say something so that maybe some of the younger sisters that are out there, if they hear anything, if they hear even one thing from me, they'll hear me say, check yourselves, girl. Don't follow some of those elders that are telling you that they're successful. They're miserable. They're miserable. They're smoking round the clock. They're drinking round the clock. They're popping pills round the clock. And they're bouncing from man to man round the clock. They're miserable. So don't follow them. They don't make them your role models, and don't listen to their advice. They just want you to go down like they're going down. So take care, live for love. See you soon.